Okay, this was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I knew it was going to be a chaotic mess of a match, but I did enjoy it.
This is almost 2 thumbs down, Adam.
I enjoyed it. I'm not giving you to do that. I'm going to give this an Orange Cassidy thumbs up. It actually exceeded my overall expectations. I thought this was going to be a clunky mess.
It was a clunky mess.
But that's what it was supposed to be. And it really wasn't even a clunky mess. Nobody was slipping or anything. Everybody was exactly where they were supposed to be. So, Tornado Trios match.
Are you sure that everyone was where they were supposed to be?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about the ending. I try to forget about it. Okay.
Oh, and that wasn't the only part where people weren't where they were supposed to be either.
Okay, because of that really weird ending, I'll give it an Orange Cassidy thumbs down. But
that's an appropriate answer.
Yeah, it was. So Sammy Guevara and Isaiah Cassidy should have done more. Hardy.
Well, no. So that was definitely not where it was supposed to be. That was definitely a botched spot.
Well, yeah, because the tables didn't break.
Yeah, so
it wasn't their fault.
I understand, but that was clunky as shit.
No. The difference is that clunky means that it was through the fault of the people, where it was not. They didn't know that the tables weren't going to break on that spot. Because, I mean, think of how high they were. Why didn't the tables break? Those things were made out of metal.
Exactly.
But then with Hardy and Darby Allin at the ending with the coffin drop, that was clunky.
The coffin drop.
He did not touch him. Darby Allin did not touch Hardy in any way, shape, or form. And they're like, oh, it was a headbutt. I don't even think that had touched him. I don't think. 0. The more I talk about it, I'm just going to give it a full thumbs down.
I know, seriously. The match was terrible.
Now, I did like a couple of things. Sting, being as old as he is, doing like the splash, good for him. Because it actually was safe, and I was okay with that.
Yeah, but whatever. You know what?
That's all it was supposed to be. Yeah, no, that coffin drop was the worst coffin drop ever. And the funny thing was, Hardy was trying to get up, and then he was pinned. It was like, come on. Oh, the crowd was dead.
Yeah, don't even try and justify it. The match was terrible.
I liked a few things. I'm just gonna put it at that. I liked a few things, but I'm still gonna give it a thumbs down.
It's a Tornado Trios match because Sting is old as fuck, and Matt Hardy is prone to fucking concussions.
And Hardy can barely move because he has like half of his spine is fused together.
No.
I was trying to justify it. Leave me alone.
No justification has sucked.
Nick. All right, Gallery. Let's make this shit majestic again.
I think this is the first time I think that we have to make AEW majestic.
We actually have a couple of points to talk about and like to really dive deep into it and get into it. So, the problem with this match is everything before it kind of killed the crowd. Now, the crowd was getting back into it.
Let me give you a little bit of context as to where I'm coming in from. So I've watched AEW for a couple of years now, and after a certain point in time, you kind of have an idea as to how these matches work. Like you have an idea of like how certain matches are going to go based on what's been happening, right? Am I wrong?
No.
And so I think what is really killing me right now is that I'm starting to get to that point in AEW where everything is just becoming predictable. Where I kind of know exactly who is going to win what matches at what points in time.
Okay, I do understand.
I mean, with WWE pay-per-views, I'm like 90% correct as far as like who wins which match because it's so fucking obvious.
But the problem is that the predetermined aspect of professional wrestling should not dictate on your perception of the actual thing.
Well, it does.
That's the problem. That's your problem.
Well,
I know who is going to win. Enjoy the ride, not the destination. Don't enjoy the ride, not the destination. And that's the problem here.
But you see, I think at that point, if you kind of know how, I think if you know who wins, you know how the structure of the match is going to go.
But once again, even if you know exactly how it's going to go, enjoy the ride.
It's not that I don't enjoy it. It's just that it's so predictable.
And here's the thing.
It becomes okay, well, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. You know,
I'm going to give you a metaphor that I think will be appropriate for what I'm saying. Look at professional wrestling like going on a roller coaster. You know, you can visually see what's going to happen on the roller coaster. You know you're going to start from the gate and you're going to end at the gate. The enjoyment comes from going around everything. That's what professional wrestling is. Okay. Or look at a play. You know what's going to happen. You know how it's going to end. Enjoy the ride.
Let's also talk about the fact that the professional wrestling community on the internet is so toxic.
Oh yeah, people were trying to defend like a lot of different things, which was stupid.
All right, so anyways, let's eviscerate this show.
I know, but we wanted to start with this preface, but I'm just letting you know.
Yeah.
Think of pro wrestling that way. That's why I think I enjoy pro wrestling more than you do, because I'm looking at it that perspective.
So when it comes to Adam Cole, I knew that reDRagon was going to interfere.
It was stupid. I wouldn't have had them interfere. Now, if they were going to interfere, I would have had them interfere, right? Whatever. But I would have had them been thrown out instead of the hoggly boosh and them moving tables and all this bullshit that they did.
Instead of
without the referee doing a damn thing.
Oh, I know. That was really annoying too. How many times throughout the show did the referee see something happen and fail to do anything about it?
Like at least 5 times.
Yeah,
easily.
So these referees are trained by the NFL or something, because these people are fucking blind.
They are
so
blind,
awful.
and unfortunately, that's the kind of stuff that's going to hurt Hangman Page's title run.
It's going to hurt AEW.
Yeah,
in general.
It's going to hurt AEW. It's like you see these guys, and you know it's going to be a good match. Have them have a match. Now, in interference, it does not hurt.
I don't need it. Well, it hurt this match.
No, it hurt it because they did it like 3 times.
Yeah, exactly.
Do it once, and then be done. And then have Dark Order come out and do their little snafu and then have them fuck off. I would have been okay with it. But not only did they do the interference, but then they also moved the table. And then they also tried to interfere again until Dark Order came out. That's what happened. They interfered 3 times.
Yeah, they did.
That's not what you're supposed to do.
Right, exactly. No, I agree.
Because it made Adam Cole look weak.
Yep, it made Adam Page look weak too. Because, heaven forbid, Adam Page cannot win a match without his friends helping him out.
Right. It's like, no.
Can Adam Page not defend himself? Is he not a fighting champion?
Right.
I mean, I expect that from a chicken shit heel like Roman Reigns, but not from a babyface like Adam. Is Adam Page even a babyface at this point?
I don't know.
What is Adam Page?
And that should not be your perception coming out of a title match like this.
Right.
Where Adam Cole is a clear heel.
He is. So having his friends come out and help him, that's perfect.
Once. Not 3 times.
I know.
Because the referee saw it all 3 times. Now, if the referee didn't see it, fine. Maybe if they try to help, if they try to help again, but the referee caught on to their shit and then threw them out, cool.
And I knew that when reDRagon didn't win the tag team titles, I knew that Adam Cole was not going to win.
It can't be that predictable, and that's the problem. Anyway, so that's what I probably would have done. I would have had reDRagon either been thrown out the first interference, or them trying to do another one, but the referee catches on to their bullshit, and then say, "You're out of here." And then Adam Cole does a low blow or do something kind of sneaky,
and then
better constructed match.
And then you have Dark Order interfere on the ramp at the stage instead of at ringside.
Right, they're trying to come out, and then they come out and do that.
Exactly.
Right. There's a lot I would do to this.
Oh my fucking god, this match was terrible.
It was. I would have cut it in half by time.
Yep. The should not have been given this much time. Also, CM Punk's blading was way too early.
He was gushing. His hair was sticking, and it was too early. Here's the thing. I'm going to say this because I think once again it illustrates my point.
It's great to have all this blood. No, it was actually kind of gross.
The blood to me is fine. It's when you do it is the difference.
CM Punk lost so much fucking blood in this match.
It wasn't even within 5 minutes, and then CM Punk started bleeding. That was way too soon. It should be at the very end of the match when somebody starts bleeding.
But CM Punk lost so much blood that he couldn't keep himself up.
Right.
That's how bad it was.
Now I want to illustrate an example of blading done right with another match that AEW
blading
had.
Is so 1980s too.
Right. Now keep in mind. Now there was another one where I think blading was done right within this company. And that was, well, number one, the Moxley-Bryan Danielson match. They did it right. But let's talk about the Cody-Dustin Rhodes match at the first Double or Nothing.
Right.
Now, did Dustin cut himself too deep? Yes.
Yes.
But it was more towards the end of the match. There was maybe another, 7 minutes, and then he started gushing blood. But that made sense. Whereas CM Punk did this way too soon, where he was bleeding more than he was not, and that's not what you should do. That's not how it should be.
I mean, I personally have a moral obligation towards blading, just in general, because I don't like the practice of blading.
If you want to get cut, you're getting cut the hard way.
Right, exactly. I mean, that's my point. You shouldn't make yourself cut. That's not...
There was a way to
There was a better way to do it.
There is a way to hit somebody.
But anyways, I have a moral obligation towards blading, and I think that
you don't have a moral obligation. You have a moral issue with it because an obligation means that you have a duty or something.
Yeah, so I have a moral issue towards blading just in general.
I don't see. I mean, I understand it. I just don't care.
You can have a good match without blood. Of course, AEW.
This was a dog collar match.
I know, but AEW incels they want blood.
This is a dog collar match.
They'll never see blood come out of a female in their life.
I can Anyway, there was a lot of thing here. Cut it in half. I don't particularly mind the blood. Right. Just do it at the end of the match instead of at the very beginning of the match. Unless a person is bleeding accidentally,
right?
Then cool,
right? Then whatever, right?
That's different.
Again, interferences ruined this match.
Yep, the interferences ruined this match. Britt Baker is more than capable of taking care of herself. She's a big girl. She can take care of herself. She has a doctorate, for God's sake. Like, come on.
Well, again, you just have to have these fucking...
Also, the orientation of this match was really hurting it because I think this was right after the dog collar match. Yeah, this was right at... No. Yes, it was right after the dog collar match. So it just really hurt because of the orientation of the matches.
Yeah, so this was kind of the sleeper. This was the sleeper.
Yep, this was in that a title match should not be a sleeper match.
No, it should not.
This was awesome. I think this was a perfect placement.
It was a good opener. It was bruising, but it wasn't bloody, which I really enjoyed.
So because these two definitely had like a blood rivalry. They were like in each other's faces. Mm-hmm. They explained it really well.
But they didn't have to bleed in order to tell the story.
Now they bruise each other up. Like they're feeling that tomorrow, especially Eddie Kingston. He had a huge bruise on his eye.
Now, of course, we got to talk about the fact that there were some pretty dangerous spots in this match too. Literally, the first move of the pay-per-view was a concussion.
Well, he was not concussed. It was really scary.
It was the concussion waiting to happen.
It was like Madcap Moss landing on his head, but that was a lot scarier.
Right, but it was pretty scary. Like you knew that this match off to a good start.
This match set a really high bar for the rest of the show. Did. And I think it kind of spilled into a lot of the other matches because these two had a really good match. I loved this match. But it just set such a weirdly high expectation for me.
I liked it. I didn't love it. And the only reason I liked it was because it was actually a good match. What I didn't like about it was, of course, the spots were a little more on the dangerous side. And I know that Chris Jericho and Eddie Kingston can handle it, but it was just like, whoa, let's slow down a little bit because this was the curtain jerker.
Maybe you're sitting there saying this was not entirely necessary.
Right.
I can see that. This was awesome.
This was my favorite match of the night.
I'm going to have to agree with you. He's like, oh, well, what about this blading? But this one made sense.
And it wasn't until much later in the match either.
Right. Moxley just bled a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. And also, Bryan Danielson is a very close-up fighter. So, of course, he's going to get covered in somebody else's blood because he's, like, doing grapples and stuff against a bloody guy. You don't think that's going to get smeared on you in, like, 2 minutes?
It was a classic wrestling match, and that's what I wanted.
But also...
John Moxley is not known for his classic wrestling matches.
But also, what I really liked about this, it wasn't just a classic match. It was a brutal match.
It was.
They fought each other.
Yeah,
this was a fight.
This was a brawler match and a technical submission match.
It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the whole experience of this match. I like this match. I know you don't like Spot Fest matches.
This was a Spot Fest. It was the Young Bucks are obviously they're the Spot Fest queens.
The queens.
And you got reDRagon, who would be a great if it was just reDRagon and Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. I would have loved this match.
I don't know why the Young Bucks were added to this match. I feel like it was kind of unnecessary.
It was very unnecessary.
The
way that this match just set itself up was just terrible. Too.
Right. Now, here's what I would have done. I would have done reDRagon versus Jurassic Express for the titles. Young Bucks come out, pretend like they're going to help reDRagon, but yet screw them. Then have the Young Bucks reDRagon match at Double or Nothing.
Because we all know what the real rivalry is. The real rivalry has nothing to do with Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus.
And that's not where it should be because, once again, this is a title match. The titles should be the main focus.
But
they were not. And that's a bad thing.
I mean, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus were just there.
And I feel like they were just there.
And the real rivalry was reDRagon Young Bucks.
And also the Jurassic Express shined in this match. I thought they did the best of it.
They did, but it was distracting to have the rivalry between the Young Bucks and reDRagon take place at the same time.
I can agree with that.
Because it took away from Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus.
I can agree. I can 100% agree with that. 100%.
Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus should have had their own match with somebody else.
Yep. This should have been on the pre-show. I don't know why this wasn't.
Absolutely.
This should have been on the pre-show. Or have Sammy Guevara defend the title against somebody. But
this was... Well, here's the thing about this match. It was just like a sleeper before the main event.
Right.
I mean, that legitimately what it was.
I just don't like sleepers. It's just like, it doesn't make any sense to me. It's like trios, whatever.
It was so random.
When in the hell was a tornado trios a no disqualification? I've never heard that.
Well, it's a tornado tag match.
It's a tornado tag match, but that doesn't mean pillar and plunder. It's still one team against another team. There's nothing there about no disqualifications.
But that's a tornado match. There are no disqualifications in tornado matches.
I've never seen that.
You've never seen it again.
Not that I'm personally aware of.
So tornado matches do not have disqualifications because it's every man. It's just one team against the other team. There's no rules.
Okay.
Again, I understand the premise of the match, but here's another thing I want to talk about really quick too. While we're here, is I felt like the promos or the packages for a lot of these matches were not very well thought out.
No, I don't think so either. I 100% agree with you.
If there's one thing that I can compliment the WWE on is that they do a very good job presenting a package for a match. AEW used to be really good, but
they're getting a little sloppy with it.
For some reason, this particular pay-per-views packages for matches was weak. It was so bad.
I can agree with that. I 100% agree with that.
So the reason I want to bring it up now is because I didn't see the reason for this match. Now, are Darby Allin and Sting the enemies of the Hardy Andrade family office.
Yes.
Why are Andrade and Matt Hardy working together now? Like what's the arc?
So the arc right now is that the Hardy family office have a working relationship with Andrade, which is why it's now AHFO, because they had the working relationship. Mm-hmm. Darby Allin and Andrade have been having a rivalry, and with Sammy Guevara involved in some way, shape, or form. I kind of wish they talked about the rivalry or the tension between Guevara and Darby Allin more. And also, why were Isaiah Cassidy and Sammy Guevara, who's a champion, why are they taking a backseat?
And why is Andrade Alidolo not with House of Black? Like, has he ever been part of House of Black?
No.
Oh,
he's never been House of Black. Well, no, he was tagging with them when they were in that rivalry, but he was never officially a member of the House of Black.
Well, see, and that's not a thing, is that I want to know what the arc is like, and now
they put them together because there was the tie-in between Queen Zelina, because that was the talk of the town at that time.
But you know, like the point being is that I wanted a little bit more information,
of a novice who's watching this show.
I almost expected more information. I was surprised there were 3 matches in the pre-show.
Right. And that kind of sucked, actually. Once again, this match should have been in the pre-show. Or it shouldn't have existed at all, because they had maybe, 2 weeks of promo on this?
Ty Conti and Jade Cargill are not ready to carry a match.
No. Neither one of them are. Not in a single bit. At least Jade Cargill has the excuse of being inexperienced. Ty Conti's been doing this for, to my knowledge, at the very least, more than 5 years. She should have known this, but yet she was having a struggle on carrying this match. And I don't think it was Jade's fault. I think a lot of this was Ty's fault.
Mm-hmm. It was a sloppy match.
It was a very sloppy match. It made no sense. Why are they facing each other out of fucking nowhere?
Right.
Where, what the fuck? It just doesn't make any sense. I would have either had this on the pre-show or had it 0. Not at all. Now, this should have been on the main show.
It should have been, yes, absolutely.
I would have replaced the Hardy Family Office match with this match, because this match at least has a rivalry that you kind of understood.
I understood it, yeah. I know there's a rivalry with the Death Triangle and with the House of Black.
Right.
I understand that there is something going on.
And with Phoenix injured right now, I think Erick Redbeard.
Erick Redbeard, which would have just,
I think
this should have been.
They should have waited until Revolution to say, hey, it's Erick Redbeard, the surprise person. That would have been cool. And I think that would have been a big pop on a show like this. And they actually did have a pretty okay match. I really enjoyed it. And they definitely wrestled a pay-per-view match on a pre-show.
Again, the match went too long.
Yep.
It should have been cut at least by 10 minutes.
It should have been cut by 10 minutes, and it should have been on the regular show. The reason why it was on here, I will never know. This
match was terrible.
It wasn't terrible. It wasn't good, but it wasn't terrible.
It was average.
It was average. There was at least a rivalry with it, but you got 2 gals who cannot carry a match. They had a better match a couple of weeks ago when this rivalry started than this match. And that's the thing. They actually did have a good match on Dynamite. I think it was during a TBS Champion Qualifier tournament match.
Yeah, and Ty, Leyla, why with the Russian colors?
I'm not going to explain it to you.
I know why, but
she is not portraying a Russian.
But the point is that you should be wary about wearing Russian colors because of the association with the fact that there's a legitimate invasion going on.
Now, if she was like fucking Nikolai Volkov and being a Russian sympathizer, I can understand that. I didn't see a whole lot of complaining on social media
I didn't see a lot
about her
complaining
gear.
about it either.
You know why? Because she's not trying to portray a Russian.
I understand.
She's just Russian.
I
It's
understand. But the colors, though...
With Masha Slamovich as an example, she's portraying a Russian. Mm-hmm. But Leyla Hirsch is not.
Right.
She's just a wrestler who happens to be Russian.
But I kind of would have put off the colors for at least a while.
Maybe do like all black or something.
Right, exactly.
She's a heel already.
Right. I would have done something a little bit different. Or if she actually supports Ukraine, why not do Ukrainian colors as a defiant sort of thing?
That'd be cool.
But the point is that I felt like, based on current geopolitical situations, it was a little bad taste.
Heel heat? It would have been a little much if she was trying to get heel heat.
Yeah, I'm like, do you want her to get killed?
That's like if Alexander Rusev was having the big Russian flag flowing down right now. That probably wouldn't have been a good idea. Or Lana giving thanks and praise to Vladimir Putin. That probably would not be a really good idea right now.
Right.
Anyway, I'll be honest with you. I think this should have been on the main show.
Really? Hook?
Yep.
No.
Yep.
Nope.
I think at least
0%.
If this was a sleeper match, this would have been a better sleeper match than the AEW Women's Champion. This would have been a better sleeper match than maybe half of the fucking dog collar match. It doesn't have to be long. It just has to be there.
This was the only perfect match for the buy-in.
Really? I thought the other. I mean, I don't know. I think there were some matches that were on the main show that should have been on the buy-in and vice versa, and this is one of them where I'm saying if this was not, this should have been the curtain jerker. Instead of Jericho Kingston, this should have been the curtain jerker.
Maybe, but
you get rid of the TBS Championship match, and you get rid of the Hardy Family Office match, and you put in a shorter House of Black versus Death Triangle match, and this match. And you have a much better constructed pay-per-view.
I don't know.
It's a little hard to sell because this one, but the thing is, this one did have a rivalry. They actually explained it really well. And I thought, to be honest with you, I did enjoy this match. I thought it was fine. And then, well, it's not the end. Let's talk about the face of the revolution, and then we'll wrap it up. I wouldn't have done anything different. I think everybody was exactly where they were supposed to be. I enjoyed the match itself, and I think they actually put over a couple of different people within the structure of the match.
Here's the thing, is that we talked about Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy's act is getting a little old. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like New Day. New Day is great, but I'm so sick of the New Day.
Yeah, they're a little old.
And what does Orange Cassidy have outside of, like, being Orange Cassidy?
Here's the thing.
I would love to see an evolution of him as a character.
Orange Cassidy actually wrestled as a masked luchador. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. When he was in Chikara, he wrestled as a luchador.
Oh.
He's actually a very, very good wrestler. He just found this gimmick and it works. Well, it worked.
It worked.
I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of in the same boat. Orange Cassidy for me, it's like,
whatever.
It was fun. It was fine. Maybe if he did something like that, but was a heel, that might be kind of interesting.
And then of course you got Keith Lee, you got Wardlow, you got Hobbs. They kind of jerked them off as the big guys because they were the big, huge guys, and then people are like hating on WWE for saying, "Oh, they like to promote big guys." Well, AEW is doing the same fucking thing.
Well, because they're like, "Oh man, well Keith Lee is just like the guy coming from WWE."
Right.
Powerhouse Hobbs and Wardlow just have that sort of charisma that makes them really popular right now.
And that's why one of them won. Was because Wardlow is a...
They're not promoting Powerhouse Hobbs and Wardlow because they're just big. Right. There's a lot more to Wardlow and Powerhouse Hobbs.
There is.
They just happen to be young and big. Right. That's it.
Exactly. But they're promoting them like, oh, they're the big guys. They're the huge guys.
They are the big guys. They are the huge guys, but they're also good. That's the thing.
Right.
This is not a Lex Luger situation.
Right.
They're not bad wrestlers.
Right.
They have charisma. They have presence. They're just wrestlers who happen to be big. They're not big guys who are made as wrestlers.
Right, and then you got Christian, and then you got...
Christian was there to lead the match because he had the experience. And then Ricky Starks was there because they wanted more people on the Team Taz heels.
Ricky Austin Theory.
Yes, basically. they like to jerk him off. And Orange Cassidy was there because Orange Cassidy, albeit his act getting kind of stale for me, he's still popular. So they wanted him at least on there to get that pop in every single match. I understand why. I do. I'm not going to be too nitpicky about it personally. I wouldn't have changed anybody out of the face of the Revolution ladder match, and I would have done a surprise maybe.
I give it a thumbs down.
I gave it a thumbs in the middle. But I would have. That's probably what I would have done. Overall, I did enjoy the pay-per-view. I did. It was kind of long.
Revolution. Okay.
It was a little long.
People are saying, "Oh my God, it's the greatest thing of all time," right? It's not.
100%.
This pay-per-view, because I'm starting to understand the formula of AEW is now starting to become old.
No, I've seen AEW do amazing things. And what about the debut with Bryan Danielson and Adam Cole? That was a much different pay-per-view. I enjoyed that one a lot more. By a mile.
This one. No, people are enjoying this one a lot more.
Really? Mm-hmm. Are they stupid?
No, they are. But anyways, the point being is that AEW has found its formula. And I have found the AEW formula. And therefore, I will now start to be a lot more critical of the AEW formula because it is AEW formula. I want AEW to continue to surprise me like they have always done. And I don't want predictability.
Can we also put the fucking pay-per-views on Saturday again?
Yeah,
like,
seriously.
come on. I understand Sunday pay-per-views and whatever, but for God's sake, don't put on a 5-hour whatever. It's so annoying. WWE's at least been good about keeping it down really short. Mm-hmm. To where they at least end it at like 7:30 instead of 9.
But beggars can't be choosers. Ugh. Anyways, Revolution, it was pretty average for me.
I'm going to give it a thumbs. I liked it more than I didn't. I'll give it a thumbs up, but that's being nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's AEW is predictable now.
Yep.
That's it.
Right. So, Peanut Gallery, what are we talking about next week? We're not sure.
To be determined.
To be determined. We'll let you guys know. But if you did enjoy this, remember to like, follow, subscribe, share with all your friends, become a patron. There's going to be a link tree down below. Check everything out. And as always, be
majestic.